All right, welcome to Do or Don't See, the only podcast where you can hear all the latest in television and entertainment news with too many hosts with exactly the same opinions. I'm one of those hosts, David Allen, and another one is...
Yeah, Brogan. A third one is...
Kyle Bridger. I would say that I am the Barry to John's couscous to Dave's... I'm going to give you NoHo Hank.
Oh, I'm ready. I'll get my leg up. I'll do the pose. Yeah. All right. Yes. Finally, after many, many years, Barry is back. We're going to talk about season 3, the premiere of that, and another show that's taken 3 years, I think, since the last episode. Russian Doll came back for season 2. We'll talk about that. We got some quick checks of some new movies, some other returning shows as well. A lot to do tonight. A lot to do. But there's this first segment, and I just can't remember what it's called, and I'm hoping, John, you know?
In and out points.
Yes, it is in and out points. Last week, again.
2.
Do it twice.
Woo!
I don't know why my
Two for
media
the
player was
price
on loop.
of
Trifecta?
one.
We're going to do it one more time?
No,
Okay,
I stopped it from looping. No more. Maybe next
maybe
week.
if you do it over and over, I'll eventually remember the name of it.
Yes.
But last week, we didn't do in and out points. We did our summer box office draft. We drafted our summer blockbusters for, the annual competition. Which one will be the most popular so it can sell the most tickets and make the most money? Very fun show. Whatever film, is the big winner this summer. I hope it's one of mine, obviously, and I hope Ramiro Atlantis wants to see it again and again and again. That is the name of a Florida resident who won back his world record after watching Spider-Man No Way Home 292 times.
Why stop there? Why not go for 300?
Make it a nice round number. 292.
Right? You're so close.
Just 8 more showings. Like, what is that at this point?
Another 20 hours of your life. No worries.
292
How does this guy have
times.
enough time? Is he independently wealthy? What's up with that?
Great question.
Works from home.
I saw on Reddit, does he either A, have no friends, or B, have a lot of friends? Because there's nothing in the middle, because you either just have a lot of free time or you have a lot of friends that really want to see this movie.
Yeah.
You're like, I'll go with you.
But how does it not start to feel like homework at some point?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm wondering, after like the 10th time, is he going there and is he catching a nap? Is he reading, have some homework? Is he doing his taxes? Like, what's going on in the theater when he's, I think he gets his little ticket stub. I saw that he gets it like signed by somebody in the theater to like an employee or something saying, yes, he stayed. He was there the whole time, because this is Guinness. This is Guinness World Records. They need some kind of proof.
You know what this needs? Nobody cares. Nobody cares, dude.
It's our top story on In-N-Out Points.
Nobody cares. I don't care if you get it signed by, whoever. I don't care. I'm more concerned with your life, dude. I'm more concerned with your personal health. 292 times. I want to see a photo of this dude. Does he smell like Cheetos? Can I smell it from here?
I know, like, theaters like Alamo, you could sit and eat during a movie. They should have a gym where you can also go to run the treadmill as, elliptical while you're watching a movie as well to stay in shape after all these times. But
I just don't know how you have enough time to do this.
I don't know either. And this isn't his first rodeo. Back in 2019, Ramiro won the most cinema productions attended of the same film world record after watching Avengers Endgame 191 times. I believe we probably talked about that. Again, go for 200. Stop this 191 baloney. But he almost got 200 for Endgame. But then his record was beaten in 2021 when another man beat him by watching Camelot First Installment 204 times. I wasn't aware of this film, but I looked it up. The Camelot movie was only 2 hours long. Endgame is 3 hours. So that's the game you got to be playing here. You don't pick these Marvel films that are like 2.5. It's like Spider-Man,
You
3
need
hours
like an
long.
80-minute movie.
Yeah, you pick whatever, an animated, like 70-minute movie, in and out. You just get the record, keep it going. You could watch it more times, get a bigger buffer, because it could be easily broken if you choose a shorter film.
I'm just doing the math here. 292 times in a 3-hour movie, that's 876 hours. Okay. If he watched them for 24 hours a day, that's 36 and a half days.
Yeah. I mean, that's for a 3-hour movie. That's like for Endgame. The CNN article I saw, because it's a 2.5-hour movie, it's 30 days. But yeah, he did 30 days between December 16th and March 15th. In the first few weeks, he watched the film 5 times, back to back to back, in a day.
So what is this guy? How does this guy make money?
I don't know how he makes money. He's certainly spending it.
I know it's like $5,000 in tickets, probably.
They have $3,400 in movie tickets over 3 months. I did the math on that. He must be in a better area than New York City, because that's $11.64 a ticket.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if we're talking $15 a ticket.
Yeah, so
I just looked him up and texted you guys a video he made.
Mm.
He looks like a normal dude. I
Yeah,
mean,
he
nothing too
does.
crazy.
He does.
But,
I was surprised to see that.
Yeah, well, you can't always judge a book by its
Yeah, I know.
it's what the VCR dust cover. What do they call them now? The DVD cover.
Yeah. But couldn't somebody just give him a Guinness World Record gold star? Because that's essentially what he paid for.
Well, at this point, he already has a plaque. Like, I'm sure, whatever. There's a book from 2019 of him in there for Endgame. Do you really need another one? Like, what is this for? Your resume? Like, I don't know what perks you get just for holding a world record for a year.
Yeah.
And it's. I mean, no offense to him, but it doesn't seem like it's any like feat to do it. I mean, given enough time, and a movie in theaters long enough, almost anybody could set a record. Time and money, basically. So it's not like it's not like he's the world's strongest man or something, or had some kind of like, maybe mental fortitude. That takes place here, but still, I mean, I don't know. It's as much as it's a record, it doesn't seem like it's a very
challenging.
Yeah. It's a little more of almost a passive record, but who am I to judge?
Yeah.
I've only seen Spider-Man 0 times. So.
I saw it once. That was good. That's
now,
all right.
could you imagine watching it 291 more times?
No. I've seen Back to the Future probably 100 times at this point in my life, and that's been over 30 years.
Yeah.
I don't know how this guy is doing it this 300 times, but
in a month. That's crazy.
Oh my god. Well, he needs to find some short films to watch, or maybe better yet, watch some TikToks. I mean, they're going to be in theaters in France. We're about a month away from the Cannes Film Festival, which has been celebrating the best in film since 1946. Well, this year, 2022, it's not going to celebrate NFTs yet, but it will celebrate the best on TikTok. The festival that once banned red carpet selfies will partner with TikTok to create the hashtag TikTok short film global competition. Do we have anything we're ready to submit to the Cannes Film Festival in the TikTok category?
Dude, it's wild how much the digital media is taking over these like traditional spaces like this. I don't know. That's wild. I mean, good for the creators of TikTok. They're creating something, but a lot of the thing that I worry about with like digital media like this is there's no like gatekeepers. So a lot of wild stuff, a lot of stuff that could be stolen from other people. That's a problem, But I don't know what this is supposed to entail. Like, is there a time limit? Now TikToks are...
So submissions must be between 30 seconds and 3 minutes long.
Okay.
And a jury will select 3 winning TikToks in 3 categories: the Grand Prix, Best Script, and Best Editing.
Okay.
So those are our films. All I could think of, I don't know if you remember, there's a Nathan For You episode where he makes like a short film festival just to like get his film that he supposedly shot in a souvenir shop to qualify so he doesn't get like legally sued for pretending it was a film. So he had to make it like a legit festival. And it's like, well, to have that, you need to have your film, but you make sure it needs to win. So he just found some random video on YouTube that was like, it was like 20 seconds long, being able to fart on command. And like that was, so it's like, okay, do you want this film or this film? And this is what this feels like here.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are good TikToks out there. There's a lot of creative people out there, but it's just like, I went to the Cannes Film Festival and it's just wild. As they were saying, yeah, this thing, we used to ban red carpet selfies. You couldn't get into the main theater without having like a full like suit. And they would check your feet, even if like, oh, your suit, your brown shoes don't match your black tuxedo here. It's like, oh, get out of here. You're not allowed in this theater because we hold a higher quality, a caliber of, and it's like, well, now we got TikTok, entering the picture here.
Yeah.
TikTok's about farting on command. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Maybe it could.
I mean,
best script or whatever.
I know people do some pretty creative stuff with their editing, but
yeah,
I'm not on the platform enough to kind of, figure out what short films people have created. I mean, I don't know, but I do know that people can get creative with their editing and stuff. So
yeah,
I guess it's just another use for TikTok instead of just scrolling while you're on the toilet looking for funny stuff,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, too bad Vine couldn't have gotten on this before.
It always feels like the early installments of everything never...
the MySpace.
It's like too early.
No.
It's too early because, Steven Spielberg, could you imagine if he heard this 5 years ago? He'd probably lost his mind.
Yeah. But it's all an attempt to share the festival with a, quote, wider, much more global, and just as much of a cinephile audience than ever before. So... anything to get people back into the theaters, I guess. But all right, one last and I'll point tonight, and this probably should have been the top story, but I put it here just because there's a lot to it. It's Netflix. Netflix had their first quarter earnings report last week, and it was expected that they would add 2.5 million subscribers. Instead, Netflix lost 200,000 subscribers this quarter. That's the first dip in subscribers since October 2011. So over a decade ago, this is the first quarter they've ever lost subscribers. This sent the stock in just a downward spiral. It dropped 35% almost instantly, and that wipes $50 billion off the value of the company. Just like that, $50 billion down the drain. That's one Twitter at this point, It's just gone. Now, Netflix did pull out of Russia in this quarter because of everything going on right now, which made them lose 700,000 subscribers. But that still doesn't explain at the end of the call how they expect 2 million more subscribers to lose in the next quarter. So even with this, they are still expecting a loss of millions of subscribers next quarter. Kyle, what do you think about all this going on? The stock drop, the subscriber, just... the opposite of growth, the decline in subscribers. What's going on?
Well, I can't say we're surprised one bit. I mean, we've been talking about it for, I think, probably a year or so now of how Netflix's model doesn't seem sustainable. They're still in debt all the time. They're spending money at the wazoo. They're raising prices of their content. And then Netflix is supposed to have unlimited growth forever. With the amount of streaming services there are, it's just not possible. They got the head start, and they are now blowing it. I mean, they're one of the most expensive streaming platforms out there now, with content that is suspect or very minimal. They have a lot of it, and that's good. But the quality content is not there, and people are talking about it. And what is the first thing to go when people are cutting costs? Superfluous media, the HBO, the Showtime, the Stars, all those premium channels traditionally were the first things to go if people needed to cut some kind of entertainment. So I am not surprised at all by this. Inflation is kind of going high in the US right now. So all these factors and then them just spending willy-nilly, like I said, we've been talking about this for a year and a half. I'm not surprised one bit.
Yeah.
On top of that, we just talked about them cracking down on sharing
Yeah.
with your buddies. I mean, how many people? I mean, I know it hasn't rolled out wide yet, but how many people are planning on getting rid of it if they can't share? You know, if everyone
Yeah.
can't pitch in $5 to get it, it's not worth it for everybody to go from $5 a month to 30 whatever a piece. People are going to just start dropping it. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, that's one of the factors that the company blamed for is password sharing. They said, in addition to our 222 million paying subscribers, we estimate that Netflix is being shared with over 100 million additional households, including over 30 million in the US and Canada. 100 million of the 222 million they suspect are sharing.
Of the 220 million subscribers that are,
I guess of those households are having it shared with 100 million people. That's what 100 million households that they want to get their money from.
Yeah, but if you're putting a service at a certain price,
you
know what I mean? Like I don't know.
Yeah. The thing we talked about a few weeks ago with that, like as you mentioned, John, the pay a little extra to share your account with people outside your household. They were testing it in other countries. It's almost, they haven't announced it yet, but it's almost for sure it's happening. After seeing this, they're going to try anything they can. You know, okay, for three extra dollars, you know, your son in Florida can go, you know, watch this and have their own account. Your daughter in Utah, okay, $3 more. You know, they're just going to do anything they can just to get any money they can out of people because they need it at this point.
Yeah,
they need more subscribers. They need that just number for their stockholders.
Anything but good content.
I wonder what the price point would be for people to, once you start getting up close to $20, man.
Yeah,
and I'm trying to think of what I know Netflix for. Like, if you had to tell me what what shows I should be watching right now on Netflix, I don't know. Stranger Things, Ozark is coming back, I guess.
But like those shows, it's like, okay, Stranger Things, you do 7 episodes over one weekend, it pops, and then I have to wait 3 years before I get more.
Yeah.
It's like, that's not a business model. They really, I think they got to start thinking about spreading out their content. When you have a thing like Apple TV Plus with Severance or HBO Max with the numerous shows that they have, when they do that week by week by week, they get their mentions. You know, Obi-Wan is going to get weekly coverage. But like that first weekend when Stranger Things drops, okay, we'll talk about it for that weekend. But then another 2 years are going to go by before we get more. And, you know, Ozark's ending. You know, some of their big franchises, they're either ending or they just take so long to come out.
Yep. I think, they need to go back to weekly or the 3 and then weekly. I feel like that's a good plan. The 3 and then weekly, or the 2, a few and then weekly is a good option as well. But because I agree with what you're saying, it's just like lost in the sauce, man. I mean, Ozark is coming out here in just a little while, and I feel like
Friday.
Yeah, and I feel like, here's the thing about Netflix. I feel like I don't hear anything about their shows until I turn on Netflix. I'm like, oh, that's new. Like, I didn't.
Yeah.
If we didn't mention that we were watching Russian Doll, I would not have known that it was coming out because I have not seen a thing about it, and it's a critically acclaimed show for Netflix. Yeah. So I don't understand.
Yeah. And that's the wild part where we're saying, okay, they lost subscribers this quarter. This next quarter, they're expecting to lose 2 million subscribers. But what's on the docket? I mean, Stranger Things, Russian Doll, the final season of Ozark, all these shows that we just mentioned, those are the bread and butter of Netflix. And you're still losing subscribers?
Yeah.
That's not good. That is not good. If your top franchises are back and you're losing during that same time period, they have some ways that they're going to try to fix it. This is their plan. I'll quote it here. Quote, they're going to re-accelerate our viewing and revenue growth by continuing to improve all aspects of Netflix. In particular, the quality of our programming and recommendations, which is what our members value most, is going to double down on story development and creative excellence, Wow, so many buzzwords that they
I
just
know.
threw in there. Is there an actual plan?
No.
It's just like, we're going to double down and we're going to revenue growth, reaccelerate, improve. It's like, good. Yeah.
They
Yeah.
need. I mean, I don't know what. No one knows what the numbers are like too. That's also the other thing on this whole aspect. They're talking about losing subscribers. We don't even know what the ratings situation is like for these shows. So to me, in my
How
mind,
many people watch 10 seconds of one episode of one? Let's get out of here.
But like, I work around a bunch of kids, teens, and I don't think it's high quality content, but I mean, it was ranked 8th or 9th in the queue at one point.
Oh,
they
we'll
were
get to that.
all talking about, is it cake? And I'm like,
Is it cake?
I'm like, I'm not watching it, but all of them are watching it. So to me, they lack quality content. But if this is the content that's getting views, I just don't know. I think
they
they're
want
lacking
from
quality
you-
content.
Well, here's what you can do to tell them, because it's the other thing that they mentioned in their improvement, their plan for success. They're going to launch a double thumbs up tool to allow members to better express what they truly love versus simply like. That will definitely improve their algorithm. Oh, they double liked This Is Cake or Is It Cake or whatever. So we need to come out with, is it brownies? Is it whatever? Like,
Then why don't they just go back
Doesn't
to the
blend.
star system?
yeah. No, because people were downvoting those things. It was like, you either like something, you double like something, or you don't like anything.
Or you
can't-
don't rate it. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's like a report card. You either were good or great. You weren't bad. You were either good or great.
Yeah.
That's it.
Like, I can't remember the comedian that was talking about this, but when they went to the thumbs up, thumbs down thing, it's like, that's so all encompassing. It's like Hitler, thumbs down, like sour milk, thumbs down. And those two things are not in the same category, but they're two thumbs down. You
They're
know what I
not.
mean?
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, they dug themselves in such a hole, I feel like, that they just need so much content now just to keep going. Like their fire is burning so hot that it's like the way to keep this fire going is just shoveling more stuff into it. They're just spending so much money just to break even. I saw this Wall Street Journal article. It was reported that the upcoming season of Stranger Things, each episode costs $30 million
On what?
per episode. Put things in perspective here. In the final season of Game of Thrones, those mini movies that they were doing, $15 million an episode for Game of Thrones in the final season. $30 million an episode for Stranger Things?
I mean, those are mini movies right there. That's crazy. Are we gonna?
Yes, but man,
Are we gonna notice the $30 million difference?
I don't think so. I mean, let's say 30
All
million.
that de-aging, man. Lost
Yeah.
a ton.
If there's 7 episodes, I think they said, that's over $200 million. That's a Marvel budget for something that's going to pop over that weekend. And then by next weekend, it'll be out of the top 10. And Is It Cake Season 2 will be number 1. That probably costs, $200 to make.
Yeah.
$30 worth of cake mix.
Yeah. But here's the main thing a lot of people were talking about. We kind of briefly mentioned it, in the past in and out point. But, the story always was, will Netflix ever have ads? For the longest time, we will never have ads. Well, the co-CEO, Reed Hastings, said an ad-supported tier is likely a year or two away now. Following the footsteps of, Hulu, Peacock, and, later this year with Disney Plus, ads are probably coming, or at least an ad tier are coming to Netflix. Hastings said, quote, "Those that have followed Netflix know that I've been against the complexity of advertising and a big fan of the simplicity of subscription. But as much as I'm a fan of that, I'm a bigger fan of consumer choice and allowing consumers who would like to have a lower price and are advertising tolerant to get what they want makes a lot of sense."
It's gonna be those of you who want to spend even more money cannot see ads, and those of you who are spending the current amount of money sees ads.
If it is that, I think people would leave because I can't
sure.
see it hovering up to $20 and still,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I like how it's like, as much as I'm a fan of this, I'm a bigger fan of consumer choice. You know what also I'm sure you're a big fan of? That makes a lot of
Money.
Cha-ching!
Yeah.
That's what this is all about. Because not only do you, get people to pay, whether it's a lower ad tier, get new subscribers in, maybe you have other people pay more to not get ads, but then those advertisements, you're making money off of them. So it's money, 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 money across the board. Currently, the basic plan is $9.99 a month. This is just like in general. This is nothing with ads. This is just the prices today. $10 a month basic plan. The full HD standard plan is $15.49, and the Ultra HD Premium is $19.99. So will this tier be a $5, $6 tier ad brand, or will everything kind of move up a little bit?
I cannot see a world where they don't bump everything.
Yeah.
I hope to all that is, holy in the TV world that they do drop a lower tier to entice more people in. However, I can't see it. They're going to push everything up. There's no way they're not going to push everything up. They've been pushing stuff up for the last 6-7 years. Why would they stop now? There's nothing there to stop them. I mean, like you said, he likes the consumer's choice to spend more money, right?
What's crazy to me is I think we're seeing the corporatization of subscription services, and it's bad news now, man. It's like all out for money. How do we get into a situation where we're paying for ads now? Yeah. We're paying a subscription service to get ads? Are you insane? That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's where we're at now. That's wild. I can't believe
it's all a circle. We're all just going back.
Who would have thought that
ads
probably now the best model for TV is ad supported, a collective ad supported thing like cable. I mean, if all these streaming, that's essentially what it is now.
You can at least get Pluto TV, which is pretty much cable, but it's free. Sure, you have ads, but it's at least free television. Yeah. This will be, it won't be free. An ad tier version won't be free whenever that does come.
I wonder. I'm just thinking we should have a game here for Netflix. When you think of Netflix, what do you think of? And see what pops up. If it's stuff like Friends or all these other The Office and all those series are going away, that's another problem that we didn't talk about with Netflix is losing all their streaming rights. If that's what you know Netflix for, Netflix, you're in deep, deep dog doo-doo.
Yeah, I'll say when you say that, I always think of Stranger Things now.
Yeah.
That's my go-to thing. But again, it takes years, 2-3 years before they can do 6 episodes of something. Yeah. I do want to see what's going on Netflix tonight. We did this segment once before. Let's try it again tonight with the Q.
What the is going on?
Yes. Here we go. What is going on at Netflix? All right. So this is interesting. We spent some time last time complaining, oh, Netflix, you have different top 10s for everybody. And we found out, okay, egg on our face. John was looking at the top 10 TV shows. I was looking at the top 10 overall. They have so many different things here. We spent 5 or 10 minutes, though, going through John's account before we went on. You're seeing it live here on the Twitch. We cannot find the top 10, just overall list for John. We see top 10 TV, the top 10 movies. We scoured. We can't find it. It
doesn't exist.
For the podcast, we're just going to do the top 10 TV shows. Because we're a TV podcast. That's what we're going to focus on here.
They have so many. I mean, look at that. They have trending now and then top 10. Yep. How can something be trending and
then there's also the popular one. Popular on Netflix.
Popular,
yeah, trending now. Yeah, real quick. What's trending now before we get to the top 10, John?
Sure. We have Heartstopper. I guess season 5 of Saul just came, right?
Yeah.
Because 6 is out. Inventing Anna, White Hot. Jimmy Savile.
Oh yeah, Jimmy Savile.
And Community, which how is Community trending.
It wasn't trending when it was on NBC.
I'll
But here
never
it is.
understand.
Yeah, so that's what's trending. But let's look at what's in the top 10 for TV shows. Run them down.
Sure. In first place, we have Selling Sunset. Second place, the John Wayne Gacy tapes.
Okay.
Third, The Marked Heart. Fourth, Anatomy Scandal. Fifth,
Ooh.
Bridgerton. Sixth, Anatomy. Ultimatum. I don't know why I read an Anatomy.
Yeah, that's okay.
7, Married at First Sight. 8 is Hold Tight. 9 is Saul. And 10 is Heartstopper.
Oh, so Heartstopper is trending, but it's trending at 10,
Number
I guess,
10,
here.
yeah.
It's weird that like shows like Selling Sunset and the John Wayne tapes here are not trending, even though they're the top 2 shows. But
Yeah.
Right?
anyways, looking at this list,
Oh yeah, there.
They're on the second
This-
the second tab
Oh.
of trending.
this is like a weird list because we talked so much about how much money they're spending. Looking at this list, these are like just reality
Yeah.
shows. Selling
Yeah.
Sunset,
Well,
The Ultimatum, Married at First Sight, the John Wayne Gacy tapes, they're true crime, documentary. I think those are all on the cheaper end of production. I mean, they're not spending $30 million an episode on Selling Sunset.
Oh, man,
So these are your top 10. Like, why are you spending that much money on other stuff then?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Or it could be, spending $30 million an episode on Stranger Things isn't the best option.
Yeah.
when is Stranger Things coming back exactly?
Memorial Day weekend.
I would almost expect that to start being trending beforehand as people like recap and rewatch. No.
Well, the
guess
thing
maybe
is
it's not quite.
Same
Good.
thing with Russian Doll. I had no idea it was coming out. I mean, I know the weekend right before they'll put out like a blitz of like, hey, go watch this. But before that, I mean, I don't know what it's like, but I can imagine Netflix, they pump out a bunch of marketing right before it. But is there incentive to keep marketing it after the first weekend? Because like a bunch of people will have watched it and word of mouth. I don't know what the game plan.
I feel like they've been also promoting this season of Stranger Things for like the last 3 years. I feel like there's been so many trailers and posters and episode title reveals and another trailer and then it, but I don't know. We'll wait and see. I just want to check in what's going on. What the queue?
With the queue.
What's going on in the Netflix queue? But all right, we got some shows that are on Netflix. I'm surprised this isn't in the top 10 for TV shows that came out last week. I guess it already dropped off. Russian Doll. In order to talk about it, we have to go back. So guys, send us back.
We're back, baby.
Gotta get back in time.
Okay, so here we go. Russian Doll Season 2. We're going to talk about, we're going to focus on the premiere, Know When. It dropped on 4/20. See what they did there. After the time loop we saw in 2019, Russian Doll is back, and this time Nadia is about to celebrate her 40th birthday when the 6 train sends her back in time to 1982. She soon discovers she's trapped inside the body of her mother, who is pregnant with Nadia. All right. I believe we've all watched season 1. Now we're starting with season 2 here. Let's start off with Kyle. What did you think of Russian Doll season 2?
I thought it took a minute to get started. It felt like it was just meandering the first 10 minutes or so, and then we get a little bit of a change. We see where it's going to go, and then it start to pick up. I started to get more into it, and by the end, I was right back into it and excited about the rest of the season. I mean, I do like the characters. What Natasha Lyonne does with Nadia is interesting and it keeps you enthralled. But I will say the first 10 minutes, it took a minute to get back into it, and it was a little slow going. But I am excited to see what happens. But I do want to talk a little bit later about a couple of interesting choices that I noticed. But
Okay.
But yeah.
Yeah, I hear you with it. It kind of starting a little bit here. It's It's been a while. I mean, it's been 3 years. I had to watch a YouTube recap to explain what happened in season one. And even after the recap, I felt more confused. There were storylines I didn't even remember existing and timelines converging. I'm like, what was going on? So it took a minute to get back into the show because also Natasha Lyonne, you know, you could love her or hate her, especially the Nadia character. She's a lot. There's a lot going on with the character and the rhythm of, her dialogue and just the way she acts. It's very specific. Well, instead of doing a Groundhog's Day situation, we got time travel. I love some time travel. I know John likes time travel too. Are you excited with Russian Doll season 2?
I had a hard time getting into this too. I very much agree that the first maybe third of the episode, I was like, what the hell is going on? How does this relate to the previous season that I saw that I don't remember because 3 years ago I didn't watch a recap? Maybe I should have because I honestly don't see how this relates at all to the previous episodes, except for what they met up with that one guy from the last episode, the last season, just to say like, oh, there's time travel in the subway, and she met like family, like she time traveled. That's all I got out of it. I'm really not sure quite where things are lining up besides that, and maybe watching more than one episode of this season would solve that for me, but man, it was not an easy watch for me. I kind of was confused like the whole time.
Yeah, it's interesting because this time around, like when she was in the time loop in season 1, she was stuck in it. She didn't know why she was stuck there. At least in this first episode, it seems like she can kind of come and go back in time as she pleases.
Yeah.
She's gets on the 6 train and she's back in her time zone. So it seems like, okay, what's going on here? It looks like at least, we're going to, she had some kind of family fortune back in the day that they lost. And maybe she's trying to go back to get that money. And is that going to be the whole season, her trying to get this back? Or is it going to be kind of some Back to the Future Part 2 situation where she gets it back to her, and then it really screws up the present day because it's like, well, you do that, it changes the future, and maybe you don't like the outcome of what you did, so now you have to fix it all and make it the original.
Yep.
But
I do like that they kind of are going down this hole of like, oh, she can kind of pick and choose and like enter this world, and it looks like the guy is going to be entering a world too, and it looks like a German world too for the guy. So it is interesting that they decided to go in that direction.
Yeah, I will say I love how she's on the subway and they kind of do the Back to the Future thing. She looks at the newspaper to see the date. What year is it? And see if we're in the 1980s. But it's just one of those things where it's like just having somebody on the train with a newspaper should be a red flag in 2022. Like, wait, what is this?
Yeah.
This is a newspaper? This doesn't feel right. This isn't the 21st century.
Yeah.
Especially
What's
one that
going
says
on?
tab all over it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, where's everyone's, AirPods? Like, somebody has to have headphones listening to their whatever.
Well, I like that even with the time travel train, it was an old train that I don't think is in commission
Well, that's
anymore.
the MTA for you.
Yeah. I know.
And that's what the best part is. Like the subway station, they didn't have to do any set dressing. It looks exactly the same.
It does.
And maybe, who knows, maybe they'll go back to the 60s and it'll look exactly the same. In the 40s, maybe the same.
Yeah.
But so she goes back, and I will say it was an interesting choice. Some of the choices Nadia makes going back in time. First of all, I feel like she is kind of almost at peace with it in the beginning. Like she's telling everyone. She goes to a bar, and somebody's like, "Oh, you're a time traveler." She's like, "I prefer time prisoner." It's like, "Yeah, you only been here 5 minutes. Like, is it really a prison yet? Like, you don't know what's going on."
I mean, she did
go through the Groundhog Day scenario.
She was a prisoner in that sense.
But she sees this guy, Shez, and starts just immediately, kissing, dirty talk, some random guy at the bar here. And it's like, again, even before the reveal that we find out that she looks like her mom. She kind of is her mom in this situation, pregnant with Nadia. I'd be like, wait a minute. Who do you think I am here? Because I'm being recognized by this guy. Like, why does this man think I look like somebody similar? Like, I would instantly be like, is this my dad? Like immediately, like, this is some
she
weird
rolled.
stuff.
Yeah.
And it,
Does she
it
not
doesn't really
recognize
stop her.
the name either? Like at least her mother's name? Like nothing? I don't know. It just
I
seems
don't
so.
know.
She rolls.
Yeah, the whole
with-
time I'm just like, please don't be the dad. Please don't be the dad.
Oh,
Because like, this
man.
is. And then once she even figures it out who he is, she's still very flirty with him. It's like, okay, I guess. But
rolls
man,
with the punches, I guess.
Yeah, she goes with it. And we got this, I guess, the logistics on this train thing. I noticed that 2 trains entered at like the same time in the station on opposite tracks, opposite direction. She goes on one of them, goes back. I wonder if later in the season, the same subway station, if she goes on the other one, uptown or whatever, is that going to be the future? Will the train, if she goes one more stop on the train, will it be the 70s? Will it be the 60s? Or is it just 80s to 2022? Is it just those
Is it
two?
just back to her mom in that particular moment?
Yeah, I'm not sure, and I'm interested because I didn't see anything with Alan yet. I didn't watch anything else. I didn't watch a trailer, but yeah, I mean, obviously, Alan's going to be involved somehow. Where is he going to go? And then the homeless man from season 1. We saw him at least across the train platform. I'm curious if he accidentally got on the train, and we'll see Nadia in the 80s or something as well, because he was there in the station.
On the
He's
other,
going to be involved.
on the other track.
Yeah, on the
though.
other side.
He
Yeah,
gets sent to the future. Yeah.
maybe. Yeah, maybe it's some weird Biff thing, and he becomes like the richest man in the alternate 1985. But I don't know. I'm gonna stick with it. I like the episodes, nice and short, 30 minutes.
Yep.
There's only like 6 or 7
There's
of them.
7,
it really
yeah.
is just an extended movie. Are you guys gonna keep going with it? It sounds like John might be out.
Yeah, you can let me know. I'm not ruling it out. However, I'm gonna.
That's sad
not
for a time
invest my
travel
time.
fan like yourself. I'm
Yeah,
surprised.
I'm gonna time travel till everyone else has seen it and find out if it's good or not.
That's good. What about Kyle?
Yeah, I'm gonna stick around and keep watching it. I'm interested to see what they do with the premise now that they've established it. Yeah, it's like an extended movie, like you said. I think it'll be easy watch.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, and you got to catch up on that before Ozark drops and whatever next thing they
Yeah.
drop, and is it Cake season 2? Yeah. But we have another show that took another 3 years to come back, and that's Barry season 3. The premiere is Forgiving Jeff. It dropped last night, April 24th. We last saw, 3 years ago when we saw Gene put it all together. I guess I'm spoiling things here. Okay, I'm spoiling. Gene put it all together that Barry killed his girlfriend, Detective Janice Moss, and now Barry's aimlessly looking for hitman work and depressed without anyone to truly turn to. All right, so we've all been watching Barry. I believe John just recently caught up with everything, watched the premiere. So what did you think of the premiere of Barry?
Yeah, I watched both season 1 and 2 and the premiere this weekend.
Wow.
Yeah,
All right.
I blitzed through it all. I thought it was pretty good. I was kind of glad to see that. Like for me, I didn't have to wait 3 years, so I think I would have been a little bit
Been a
more.
long 3 years.
Yeah, I think I would have been a little bit more upset if I had to wait 3 years. But yeah, I like the character dynamics, and I like that they've had opportunities to get rid of people and they haven't, which is kind of good. I mean, obviously there's a couple of people who, or at least one person who they get rid of in this episode, but like, I don't know. I enjoyed it. I want to see more. I don't know if I've let it sink in enough and had 3 years to think about it to really have a super opinion, but yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I rewatched season 1 and 2 because it's been so long, and rewatching it, I remember, especially season 2, these episodes they all ended with such like a cliffhanger. Every week it was just like, what? And like literally there's an episode called What? Where Barry yells it in season 2 when, I mean, the cops were never good on this show. I mean, the police department, except for Janice, who actually figured it out. The second guy, when he finally figured it out, pretty much uses it to blackmail Barry to kill his like lover's, new lover kind of thing. And it was just like, and Barry yells, what? I thought I was going to jail, and you're gonna hire me for work. But there's always so many cliffhangers, so it's been a long 3 years to get to this point. And Kyle, was it worth the wait?
For the premiere, I like the premiere. I mean, we know Barry is struggling with this like existential dread. I mean, he killed somebody I think he loved Gene because Gene actually changed him, you know.
It's like a father figure.
Yeah, so
better than Fuchs at least. Yeah.
So yeah, I think this was tough, and we see what he's going through. They still had some moments of levity with NoHo Hank. That character's still a little weird to me, but overall, I enjoy it. There's the moments on both sides that make this a true comedy drama, and Bill Hader's really good. Everybody does a great job. So, I'm excited to see where the season goes.
Yeah, and I feel like this episode, I mean, the episodes are always like kind of cinematic, but I feel like this one really stepped it up, even from their usual work. There was, a great opening vista with this soul tree that was, like a simple but very memorable shot. There was a cool, like, tracking shot where we see Sally going through the different sets, answering questions. It's just a really well-made show. And this episode, there was a lot of setup. So we don't have too much to go off of yet. I mean, there's a lot that's going on. Definitely, it looks like a time jump here because, Sally's getting successful. Barry is, been really hurting for a while here. He's very depressed. He's using some kind of Hitman marketplace website for work.
Yeah, Hitman marketplace. I love that idea that there's a marketplace for it.
Yellow Pages, pretty much. Yeah, and even NoHo Hank is turning him away, and that's like an interesting relationship because I feel like NoHo Hank is always kind of, at least was friendly with Barry, almost like too much into Barry. And we saw in season 2, he gives him this pin, your debt is paid, everything's good, we're bros. And then Barry uses that pin in the trunk of the car to kind of set up them with the death of Janice. So you would think, NoHo Hank is like, oh, you killed all my men. You blame this on me. I'm in trouble. And you would think, okay, that's it, Barry. And sure, there's a little bit of like, I don't want to see you right now. But he's not ordering any hits or doing anything. Also because Barry knows also a lot of Hank's secrets and a lot of that stuff as well. So it's kind of like they both...
And he doesn't
both are criminals.
Yeah, and he doesn't have any buddies, remember?
Yeah.
He doesn't have any buddies left. Barry killed all of his buddies.
Yeah. Yeah. And let's see. I mean, Barry does have Sally. And Sally is getting very successful. Darcy Carden's character, Natalie, is now her assistant. Looks like there's this show. I guess she's the star of it.
But also like the creator in the star?
Yeah, the creator. I'm guessing it's sort of based on...
Her...
We saw in season 2 the kind of monologue that she was, or the scene she was working on with her relationship with an old boyfriend that kind of maybe started this whole thing. But it looks like, at least in this show, maybe she has a kid. I don't know exactly what's going on in the show yet. But I will say, I want to ask you guys, does this character, for some reason, I never really got on board with the Sally character, and I never really bought her specifically with that relationship with Barry. And now they're living together. I just never bought it. I don't know. It felt forced, especially in the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, I like the back and forth with her and Barry, but I can see what you mean. I know what you mean.
It felt very much in the beginning like, she was there with him, then all of a sudden it was like, nope, nothing to do with you. And then all of a sudden, like, yep, let's back on board. So I don't know. It feels very fleeting, I guess, to me,
Yeah, because in this show, I mean, sure, it's season 3, but as you watched it so quickly, John, there's only like 8 episodes a season. They're 30 minutes long, so each season is only like 4 hours. So it's like, it's not as, this will they, won't they, Jim and Pam, for 5-6 seasons or whatever build up. They got together, they went out, now they're back together and living together. And I will say, the stuff with I really like what they do sometimes with Hollywood and what they make fun of, and like they have this network person asking some of the just dumbest questions, like, so in this scene, so the mom and daughter, they're living together. It's like, yeah, and it's like, did you do that when you? Yeah, and like asking the assistant, yeah, I also lived with my mom. Oh, you did? Oh, and you lived with your mom too? Okay, I guess that is normal. Okay, it's
I think
what?
it's just because
I bet that's real. I bet that is a real conversation that they've had.
Because I think it's what
It's too
they're
specific.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
what they're trying to do is to show you how out of touch like Hollywood executives are from just the rest of the world, you know?
Yeah.
But
Yeah, so real quick, we'll run through the other kind of the two father figures in Barry's life. Fuchs, he's the Raven now, and he's being thrown under the bus to take the blame for all the deaths, all the people dying, and he's hiding in Chechnya. I can't even talk tonight. I really hope he's not going to be out there for a while, because I think I need him in LA. I need him interacting with our group. I can't have him off on his own here.
yeah,
I just think it's too good of a performer to just leave him.
for sure.
You know,
He was
alone.
like one of the MVPs last season. He was so good.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is who they're pinning the blame on for the detective's death. But Gene doesn't buy any of it. He's ready to shoot Barry, or at least force him to turn himself in. And well, a little mistake with that prop gun there.
Yeah.
Maybe you need a little bit of practice with it. But Barry brings him out to the desert, what we saw in that opening scene, and we get this, kind of fake out that shot to the head. We saw it earlier in the episode with Sally. He's imagining all these, shots to the head, but he has another idea. Get in the trunk. So what's his idea? Anyone have any idea? Because I don't know. What is his idea that involves Gene getting in the trunk of his car?
To win back his forgiveness,
Is it the same trunk in where his dying girlfriend was in?
Oh my gosh. I don't know. Maybe take him to, I don't know, to somebody who said he had to do the hit or something to prove to him that he wasn't the one that wanted to do it. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. We're gonna have to wait and see. This is what they do. They always do this to us. The one giant cliffhanger, no answers. We have to wait till next week, and we'll see what they explain here. But I'm in the Barry. I think you guys are too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this their last season too?
I believe they've been renewed for another season.
Okay.
But please, I'm hoping they did the Atlanta thing and shot a bunch of these, or at least got the scripts ready so we can crank these out
Yeah.
instead of having to wait another 3 years. But
Yeah.
all right, we're gonna go from one Gene to another. We don't have much time, but we're gonna squeeze them in. We got some time for some quick checks. Okay, we're gonna start off here. Last Monday, we had the 2-episode premiere of Better Call Saul season 6. We're a few minutes away from episode 3 starting. I'm gonna jump out, and you guys are gonna tell me your thoughts, what we saw so far. John, start me off because this is your quick check.
Sure. So we have a flash forward at the start instead of a flashback, which I loved. Started out black and white, and the ties, the color creeps in. Oh, it was really well done. And I really liked that they actually finally showed Saul's house where he's living. Was never shown in Breaking Bad, so that was really great that we finally got to see that. We got to see his golden throne.
We assume it's his, right? Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I
How
think
could
it had
it not be?
Yeah, I mean, it had all his stuff. I can't imagine it's not his. It had like the suit that he wore, all his the bingo balls, the beanie babies, the shoes. There were so many callbacks to previous episodes. I can't imagine it's not his place. All everything, posters of him. I think even some of the lettering off of his building that said "Better Call Saul" or Saul Goodman or something. It had all the stuff. So that was a great flash forward. I think the highlight for me of the 2 episodes was when they were in the club. I mean, it's classic Jimmy. He's making a ruckus, trying to get everybody to, look at Jimmy. They're like, not being fair to him, because he's Jewish, which Goodman's a fake name. He's not Jewish, but he's making a big fuss, and then he plants some suspicious baby powder. And I don't know, and then you have the whole I guess side plot with Nacho and everyone. I don't know. I'm so glad it's back. The whole thing with the Kettlemans was great too. Like there were so many great moments in the whole thing that it's back and it's just as good as ever.
Yeah, there's a lot of good things. I am so scared for Nacho Varga. I really like that guy, but there's no way that guy doesn't end up dead.
Wasn't he in Breaking Bad? I'm trying to remember.
I know. I think so, but I'm like, God,
I'm pretty sure he is.
There's no way that he doesn't end up dead somehow. It's crazy.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was in.
I'm pretty sure too, because I remember him. But it's just like,
but how he gets there, is, you know.
So I'm excited about that. I really like that storyline. It's crazy how much that Jimmy has kind of messed up Ray Seahorn's life, because she's down, like she's in it now with him, and I think she's
pushing him now.
Yeah, he's gonna end up being the downfall of her.
The carrot and the stick, man. She's the stick. Oh man. I can't imagine what's gonna happen. It's something has to happen. Either she has to be disappeared or die, which I can't see happening, or just not want anything to do with Jimmy, or have to go to jail, because I don't see her living in, a golden toilet house. Yeah. There's no mention of her at all in Breaking Bad, so I don't know. I have no clue, but I'm along for the ride.
Yeah, the last thing I'll mention, the scene that I really liked was the Los Pollos Hermanos, Gus Fring there in the old folks' home with that guy, and they. He has such a great acting moment where it's like you can tell from his eyes that he knows that the old man knows that it's him, and it was great. It was great. It was just a great scene. But yeah.
All right. So it sounds like you guys are going to be watching some more.
For sure.
All right. Sounds good. All right. I'm going to go to my quick check now. The Batman. March 4th in theaters, but it just dropped on HBO Max. I know John did a quick check on it recently. Let's see here. When the Riddler, a sadistic serial killer, begins murdering key political figures in Gotham, the Batman, Robert Pattinson, is forced to investigate the city's hidden corruption and question his family's involvement. All right. It's dark. This is the adult Batman here. It's rainy 24/7. Every scene's at night. There's no superpowers. Everything is grounded, like kind of Nolan's Batman series. I will say, I really liked the stuff, especially with the Riddler, that character that Paul Dano is doing, especially with him and Robert Pattinson, all of the riddles and kind of the update to his old school comic book character to bring him to this contemporary world, what they did with that. Because this movie, it feels like it's Seven just with Batman.
Yeah.
Like it's this, and it's long. It's 3 hours, but I didn't really feel it until like that last hour or so when we got towards the end. And I will say, for me personally, I don't know about you, John, I didn't care actually or really need too much about the Penguin. I thought that, like, all the crime boss stuff.
Yeah, that was, I think, one of the weaker parts of the movie for me. Although
that wasn't for me, but I liked all the Riddler kind of stuff, and
I heard that they were considering doing a TV series on the Penguin.
Yeah.
So maybe with that there'll be more meaning to it when you rewatch Batman, but the Batman. But yeah, I agree that to me was one of the weaker parts of the film.
Yeah, and I will say highlight, as you mentioned in your quick check, the music. The music definitely stood out as well. Two quick, like, little nitpick type things. They're fun ones. I love how there's no, like, really that much Bruce Wayne in the movie. We got a lot of Batman, not much Bruce Wayne. But I love how nobody could figure out who is Batman, even though we see Bruce Wayne at a funeral moping around. He's not the fun playboy, but he's not changing his voice either as Batman. He's just the same person, just without a mask, the same body language and the voice, and like, again, nobody could figure out it's him. And same with, like, Catwoman. She has her mask and it's like barely, it's like it covers her nose and everything else is seen. It's like, what's the point? It's just to get the little, the little cat ears there. But that, and John will know what I'm talking about. There's the scene at the Gotham Square Garden, Madison Square Garden here, and it's the hurricane shelter, but it's like a basement arena.
Yep.
And I don't know if that's the right choice if there's any flooding to have a a basement kind of arena as the place where everyone should go if there's any flooding or a hurricane. But that's their choice in Gotham, I guess. But
the only thing I want to say about this, because I haven't finished it yet, but I'm halfway through. There's one that I think they're trying to make badass, but it's almost kind of corny to me, is the slow walk of Batman out of any shadows, and you just hear, dum, 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 and you don't see him for like a good 5 seconds, and then he comes out. It's like a perfect opportunity for just anything random. Like if somebody wanted to put a joke out there, just like have something come out of the shit. I'm just like, dum, 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 dum. It's just a little corny for me, but everything else I'm into so far.
It's the fear that strikes into the evildoers' hearts.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Vengeance, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Kyle, what's your movie?
Everything, everywhere, all at once. Very unique film. It kind of takes elements from these superhero movies. And by that, I mean, this idea of multiverses and stuff like that. And puts them in a family and tells allegories and complications that family matters or people in families have. So it is an interesting film. Lot of cool stuff, a lot of cool action sequences. Just the couple of the metaphors and things and the similes that they use with, this bagel being a sign for like everything, like all this depression, all this emotion that you put onto it. And I mean, I get what they're going for, but it would have been better in my mind to have something that wasn't the bagel. But it's a quirky movie. Yeah. It's an interesting movie.
It's a wild movie.
It is wild. There's so many different things happening. I really, really recommend this film just because it's so unique, but it touches on things that you might be familiar with superhero movies or even action movies, and adds like a family element to it. It has a lot of emotion, a lot of heart. It's a really good movie, and you need to check it out.
Yeah, I'll do a quick thing too, because I also saw it this weekend. I'll keep it vague because I went in knowing nothing, and I think that helped and made it a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. I really love this. It's so unique. It's creative. It really is like, it's fearless with just the stunning visuals, the amount of locations and costumes and effects. Like there's some cuts like they feel real because it's like in the same shot, the same motion, and they're cutting costumes and locations and effects, and it's just. I guess it was filmed right before the pandemic. It was released, obviously after No Way Home and right before Doctor Strange. So kind of hurts the multiverse of it all. But like, it's still, I love how this world just feels so distinct. It has its own rules and mythology and what you need to do. Mm-hmm. And they had so much to do to explain this movie and set it up.
Yeah.
And I think, I don't know how they could mix in these bagels and hot dogs and a certain Pixar film, that I'll, leave it as a spoiler. But they did it. They did it somehow, and it all works in this weird hodgepodge of a movie. But it even had I don't know if you noticed, there was one cast member, Kyle.
Biff
our
Whiff,
good friend, Biff
Whiff. Yeah, first scene, I think. Biff Whiff.
Yeah, he made it in. No, I'll always see him now.
Yeah,
after
you can't
after
not see him.
Yeah, but all right. Yeah, I think. 3 things that we would recommend, all from Quick Checks this week. Let's see now. Next week, we mentioned it earlier tonight, Ozark's last batch of episodes is coming out. Maybe we'll discuss the premiere. Maybe we'll wait for the finale the week after so we can watch all of it. By then, we'll see. But if not, we do have plenty of other shows to talk about. Series premieres of Shining Girls, Under the Banner of Heaven, an Apple TV Plus, and an FX on Hulu. Whatever that is now. Check both those out. Andrew Garfield, Elizabeth Moss. Make sure you never miss an episode by going to YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, the blog, doredundancy.com. Of course, we're live Monday nights on Twitch, twitch.tv/doredundancy. You can join us in the chat like Wazaka and Dark639 did. Did I get those right, John?
Yeah. It was lucky.
All right. They were there in the chat tonight, chatting along with us. And you can follow us on social media, Twitter and Instagram at DoorDoneNC. Got to thank both of you guys for joining me tonight. For John directing the show. Couldn't do it without you guys. Thanks.
Sure.
All right. Until next time, I'm David Allen.
I'm John Brewer.
I'm Cobrager.
And that's all we got for Do or Duncy. Goodbye, everybody.